Hello there. Last week I made this video that a lot of you got interested in. That is after the Ugandan president Yoweri Museveni appointed his son to be the top most ranking general in his army, right? And a lot of people now think that he's grooming his own son to take over after him. Of course, this is a known secret, right? People have always known that the Ugandan president has been grooming his son to take power after him. That is a dynastic rule in Uganda. And definitely they are trying to perpetuate a family dynasty, and the regime in Uganda is trying to consolidate power within a small circle, which includes Museveni's brother, his own brother, Saleh, I think his name is Saleh, and others that are very close to the Ugandan president, mostly from his own tribe. And this is leading to the entrenchment of authoritarianism. And that is what is happening in Uganda at the moment, because the opposition figures get jailed. We've seen that they get humiliated, and there's no accountability in Uganda at the moment. People get disappeared every day. There's no transparency. We've seen some of some of Africa's largest corruption cases in Uganda, and there's no rule of law, of course. And look, China has been throwing money all over Africa. In almost every country in Africa, there's a Chinese project happening there. Even some countries that you've never heard of yourself, smaller islands there in Africa, China is there. But in Uganda, China is conspicuously, absent. Of course, they are somehow involved. There's a Chinese company that is part of a multiple company that are extracting oil in Hoima. But besides that, China is conspicuously absent in Uganda. They are not involved in road construction, huge road construction, or huge development construction in Uganda, because they do not trust the regime or the future of Uganda in that regard. So that shows you that the regime or the dynasty in Uganda is kind of even scaring away potential investors in Uganda, and the economy of Uganda is going to continue deteriorating as time goes by, especially if the young Museveni, that is Muhoozi, comes to power. We don't know. Uganda is going to be one of the poorest countries in the world. And today I want to delve into the intriguing world of African political dynasties, where dictators are grooming their sons to inherit power in Africa. The first one is Denis Sassou Nguesso. Congo Brazville's president Denis Sassou Nguesso has appointed his son Denis Christer as a cabinet minister. This move has revived media speculation that he has a dynastic succession in mind. The elder Sassou Nguesso has been ruling Brazzaville for the past 41 years, and if his son Denis Christer does eventually step into his father's shoes, this will confirm Congo Brazzaville's alignment with an increasingly prevalent pattern in Africa. In the neighboring Gabon, President Ali Bongo Ondimba, the one who was removed through a coup late last year, is the son of Omari Bongo, who ruled that country from 1967 to the year 2009 when he died. And in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, remember, Joseph Kabila ruled that country for 17 years after succeeding his assassinated father, Laurent Desire, as the head of state in 2001. And don't forget, Equatorial Guinea's President Teodoro Obiang has been in power since deposing his tyrannical uncle, Francis Nguema, the country's first head of state, in the year 1979. So he was deposed in 1979, that is. And Teodoro Nguema has been in power since then. He has ruled for 45 years. And currently he has installed his son, Teodoro Nguema Obiang Mangui, as his vice president. And this is a pole position to succeed him, definitely. So the son is the vice president in Equatorial Guinea. And something you need to know about Equatorial Guinea is one of the richest countries in Africa. They are the fourth largest crude oil producer in Africa, behind Nigeria, Angola, and what? I think they are the third largest crude oil producer. And when it comes to per capita, they are the second largest. They have the second largest per capita income of $24,000. So they are the richest, one of the richest countries in Africa. And the son is the vice president. So definitely this is another dynasty in the making. Another dynastic regime in Africa is Chad, where we had the president Idris Deby grooming his own son Mahamat Deby to take over after him. So he had promoted him to a foster army general. In other words, he was the second most ranking officer in his army. And when the president died, Idris Deby died, his own son was appointed by the military council to be the new president of Chad. And of course, the Chadian constitution says that the vice president was supposed to be the new leader if in case the president died. They bypassed the vice president. And it also says if the vice president is not capable of taking power, the Speaker of the National Assembly or the Parliament was to take power. Of course, they also never involved the Parliament in doing this. They just decided on the field of battle that the son was going to be the president, so it was a coup. But what happened is that France was the first country to recognize the new president of Chad, Mahamat. And after France did that, the whole of Europe, the European Union also recognized him. And the next day, we saw him being invited to the United Nations General Assembly to represent Chad. So it was a coup that was supported by Western backers, right? And after that, we have to go to another country. So in Cameroon, they have an 89-year-old president called Paul Biya. He has been in power since 1982, and he has not shown any indication of stepping down. But he is grooming his own son, Frank Biya, to take over after him, after he's gone. And the son is in his 40s. He was born at the time his father became president. So he's as old as his father's rule in that country. And he's being groomed to take power after his father dies in power. So that is what is happening in Cameroon. And finally, in Rwanda, the president of Rwanda has no indication of stepping down, but there's all indication that he's grooming his third born or the second born son, Ian Kagame, who is now a top-ranking general in his army, right? He's promoting him every single week to make sure that by the time his father steps down, just like in Uganda and just like in Chad, his son is in a pole position to take power through force. So that is what is happening. Kindly go to the comment section below. Tell me, do you think that what the African dynasties, these dictators and strongmen are doing is going to basically wreck international perception and of about the continent? Because a lot of other countries will see Africa as a continent that doesn't value democratic succession